Hey everybody, I want to do a quick video because I'm up and alert. I actually got out today, did a little walking around in spite of having swollen feet and really bad neuropathy symptoms today. I got out and it's better than it was yesterday, so that's a plus. It's just sometimes a drag when it's constant. Some days I think I said it before, I want to wake up and just not have any symptoms or pain or any nagging, anything. So that's probably not going to happen for some time, but I'll be happy when that does become a reality. So at any rate, it's been an interesting week, and it's only day 2, but it has been very interesting. And I've been talking about honoring yourself and being okay with that. And I'll add to that, be assertive. It's okay to ask people for what you want, and it's okay to tell them what you need. And I'm saying that because at times I feel I don't feel as confident as I probably should when it comes to relying on people, or really being 100% honest about my needs and what I need people to do for me. So I want to encourage you guys to, if that's a stumbling block, then to work on it as I am working on it. I've gotten better over the last year and a half simply because life kind of pushed me to bring it up a notch. I still have a ways to go because I'm a bit stubborn and I'm very independent. So yeah, at any rate, I want to go into, I guess, the topic I'll talk about at this point is having balance when it comes to knowing your limitations. And so I remember last year around this time I was battling with the idea or the ideas surrounding me not being able to physically do some of the things that I wanted to do. And there were things that I had committed to, and engagements, events, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes on the day of, I just didn't feel like it. And most of my life is like that lately. You know, I wrote down the other day, some days I wake up and I feel like I could actually climb Mount Everest, and then there are days where I just want to climb under the bed. So you go from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum as it relates to how you're feeling each day. And it's never predictable for me. At this point, I could predict that I will have some neuropathy symptoms because it's been consistent for the last couple of months. At this point, I know that being fatigued is also a symptom. I know that my lungs were poisoned, injured, they're healing, or whatever the case may be. I know that I'm on steroids. So there are some things that are predictable, and there are some side effects that goes along with those medications and complications. So those things are predictable. But then, you know, again, like, I can never say, well, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to feel like doing X, Y, and Z, because I never know. And while in most cases I still try to do whatever it is I've committed to do or I need to do, especially as it relates to getting out and taking care of things, there are still times where I say I'm going to stay in today, and I have to be okay with that. And so to add to that, because I did talk about being physically, mentally, and emotionally impaired as a result of the illness and the medications. I think the side effects have been more alarming and worse than anything, probably. So the next thing that I want to mention is that you have to have a healthy balance in knowing what your limitations is, and then the expectations that you have for other people. And I say that because for a few reasons. Because sometimes I think I'm Superwoman, and then sometimes, I hear people talking about or making suggestions about what they think that I should do, or some things that I should try out, and in my mind I'm thinking there's no way possible that I could physically do what they're suggesting, but I don't always tell them. And so, for example, one of my friends had a friend who was telling her that I could get a place close to a train station in a suburb, and I could walk maybe a mile and a half or a mile or so back and forth to the train or to a job that is fairly close to the train. And in my mind, I'm thinking, sometimes when I walk maybe a half a block of a block, I'm in severe pain, my back is hurting. Or if I walk a block, my back is hurting and my feet are hurting, and sometimes after walking a block or two, I may have to stop because my back is hurting me so bad. So I don't always admit to that, or I don't always tell people that. Even sometimes when I'm walking with people, sometimes I'm in a store with my friends, grocery store, whatever it is, and we're walking and they're going from aisle to aisle, and sometimes I'm in severe pain and they don't have a clue. So I haven't mastered that ability to just say, I'm in pain right now, I'm going to go and sit down, or I'll opt out of this for now. But I know that it's important to have balance, and so while I don't always verbalize that I've reached my limit, I am intentionally knowing and learning, and also cutting off when I need to cut off, because it's not worth it. And physically, I think you could actually hurt yourself the more, and God knows I don't want any more extra stuff going on right now. So that's that. And so there's so many things going through my mind, and one of the things that is going through my mind is just kind of piggybacking on something that I mentioned the other day, talking about people taking advantage of you because you're vulnerable. And so for the last 8 months, my employer, I had been asking her for a reimbursement check, and that money would have been really helpful while I was on leave from my job, so that I could maintain while I waited for a stem cell transplant and waited for my lungs to heal. Needless to say, it is April. I've been waiting since last August for the check, and for some reason she just refused to send it. And she was never, nasty about it and said that I wasn't going. She never said that she wasn't going to send it, but she did basically allude to me being dishonest or taking advantage of the system or something, as it relates to how the agency view reimbursements, which is far from the truth. And in most cases, I didn't even turn in a lot of things that I could have actually been reimbursed for, and that's my bad. I'm not sad about that. That's just something that I didn't always have the energy to do, because I had so many other things going on. And some of the things that I did, I just, you do it because that's the type of person you are. And so I said all that to say that, even with me asking her, and I typically ask her once a month, twice a month, because I didn't want to hound her I would send her an email and say, hey, where's that check? Or were you able to send it out? Or can you send it out? Things of that nature. And she would always respond by saying that she was working on it. Now, when I was in a hospital last July during chemo, this is when I was hospitalized for 3 days each session. And during my first hospitalization, she actually called me and threatened to terminate me, as well as she withheld my paycheck, my last paycheck, because she wanted me to turn in the receipts. So, of course, I was in a hospital. That was a 3-day process. I got out of the hospital. It took me a couple of days to recuperate. And once I was recuperated and got a ride and things of that nature, I went up a couple of weeks, maybe a week or two later, and turned in the receipts. And when I turned them in, I had them all itemized, numbered, had copies of them. And she told me, oh, yeah, get it done in a couple of days. I'll send you both your last paycheck, and I'll send you the reimbursement check. Well, September came, nothing. So I emailed her, and I'm like, again, I didn't want to hassle her because I've had experience, and I'll just put it at that because I don't even want to digress into all that craziness. But sometimes when you're in a vulnerable place, you have to help yourself. I'll just put it that way. And if anyone could read between the lines, whatever you get from that, that's what you got from it. But so anyway, September came. I'm like, can you send the check? So she sent the paycheck, and it was only half of what I was supposed to have gotten paid, because she mysteriously had taken out some monies that I supposed to have owed for premiums and medical insurance that she had already promised to take care of. So I didn't have energy to go back and forth with her. I was just like, there's no accountability. I can't make this woman do what's right. So I then inquired about the reimbursements again. And from that day until now, I've been inquiring. I've sent emails, countless numbers of emails asking for it, wondering what was the holdup, asking for updates. And so each time I'm working on it. And then one day in December, she sent me an email saying that she was giving me it wasn't even 10% of what the reimbursement was. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Where are you getting these figures from? And so, of course, she started coming up with all this stuff about how things wasn't approved, and just procedures and things of that nature that has never been active or communicated, or the process. And this is year 2.5 of being with the organization. So again, when you're in a vulnerable situation and you're already challenged with your energy, you just don't have time to tackle every little thing, because I was still tackling my own life and trying to figure out what I was going to do, where I was going to live, how was I going to maintain, because I knew that I wasn't rich and that money was tight. So at any rate, this week, or last week, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she wanted to pursue it, and she even mentioned, legally, maybe getting some advice on what to do. And so in lieu of that, I decided to contact her and say, basically, what's going on again, just being patient and stupid, or whatever you call it, because there's nothing normal about the situation. So I guess I know what it is. I don't like confrontation, and I don't like to be stressed out, and I've dealt with that personality type before, and I know with that personality type, if you don't do things a certain way and if you don't have certain people in place, some people are just not accountable. And so, whereas I try to be that way with or without people standing over me or, saying do X, Y, and Z. I think you should do what's right in any given case, but especially because of the circumstances, and she was fully aware that I needed the money, and even if I didn't need the money, it was my money. I spent my money with hopes that they would honor that and repay me as they've promised to do. They've always promised to do. And so I think it was because either I wasn't there and she probably thought I wasn't coming back, or I don't know what made this woman think that it was okay not to reimburse me. I still can't figure it out. I can't, even for months of me, asking her. And then the fact that I was sick, like, excuse me, why wouldn't you reimburse me? And if there was a real reason, why not discuss it? And so about 2 weeks ago, I sent her an email and I basically said, look, I need my money. I've been really patient about it, and it seems that you're not, there is no urgency on your end to reimburse me. And I said, I find it strange that, you withheld my paycheck last year because you wanted me to be accountable and turn in these receipts. And upon me returning them in, you failed to be accountable on your end, and that's not fair. And it isn't fair. If you're withholding my paycheck that I worked for, put in my hours each day, and you withheld it until you received the receipts. So why not reimburse me, and why not be accountable and do whatever it is you need to do to clear that slate? And for whatever reason, it's really difficult for her to do that. And so yesterday I had to just tell her that if she didn't reimburse me, then I would have to pursue it legally. And so she emailed me today. I didn't even check it today because yesterday, just dealing with her for that short amount of time, it stressed me out. And it just, you just don't want that type of energy in your life because there's, again, so many other things going on. And in addition to that, I had emailed the oncologist trying to find out what was going on while we're waiting for the stem cell transfer. So there was a lot just in the air. And so today I'm just taking it kind of slow because I want to be careful and I want to be in control of how the day goes. And so I'm in a different place because I've had time to think about it and I've had time to iron out my emotions and place basically not feel bad about being assertive and saying I need my money. There's nothing bad in that, but I think it has a lot to do with the way that I grew up and how we were taught to reverence and be respectful and things of that nature. And it also has a lot to do with just workplace ethics. I've experienced some really painful things in the workplace, not necessarily that particular position, but in life I have. And one of the things that one of the women told me when I started that job is that you have to pick and choose your battles and choose them wisely. And so I learned that that is true, and that was true actually. So I tried to do just that. Nevertheless, it's not an easy way to live because I hate to feel like I'm being taken advantage of, because I'm a really good person. Well, I'm a fairly decent person, I should say. And I'm going to end this because this is a lot longer than what I was planning on. But I hope something resonated with someone, or hopefully something good, and that I said something that was encouraging to someone. Thank you. Bye.